Welcome to Dante's Harmony podcast, your ultimate source for music, mentoring, and motivation. Join me, Dante Harmon, as I host a one-of-a-kind podcast that showcases the incredible world of sacred steel music. With in-depth interviews, exclusive music, and untold history, this podcast is a must-listen for anyone passionate about music. So tune in, subscribe, and let's harmonize the world of music together. Thank you for joining me today for another harmonious solo. I'm Dante Harmon, and today I want to talk about the playlist. The playlist. So for those of you all that have never heard of the playlist, it is actually a Netflix series that dramatizes the creation and rise of Spotify. So it focuses on its founder, Daniel Ek, and the challenges he and his team faced while revolutioning the music industry. There's a summary of key points and some lessons that I want us to take away from this particular series. For every musician, for every artist that has not seen this particular series, I'm not promoting it. I'm not getting paid to promote it, but I want you to educate yourself. Especially those who are not business savvy or really do not understand the business side of the music industry. I think it's a must-watch series for every musician and artist that may struggle in the area of business as it relates to your creative art as a musician. So there are some things that I kind of took note that I think it's valuable. I know it's going to be valuable to you to take away from the series, in hopes that you would check it out. The series is actually broken down into 6 parts. So it starts off with the vision, and then the second episode, right? Because we think about it in episodes. So the first episode deals with the vision. The second episode deals with the industry. The third episode deals with the law. And then it goes into episode number 4, the coder. Episode number 5, the partner. And then episode number 6, the artist. So it delves into each one of these entities specifically, right? Talks about and does a whole episode dealing with, for instance, the artist. It talks about this artist that he actually knew and followed him, and they were actually good friends, and later some kind of evolved based on numbers and algorithms and all this other stuff that we'll learn, or you'll learn as you watch the actual series. But here's some takeaways, and this is not, again, not being one-sided here. I just want to kind of give some information as it relates to some of the things that are actually brought out in this series. Do I agree with some of this stuff? Absolutely not. Am I totally against how it was done? Absolutely yes. But I want to educate you. So number 1, it deals with change and innovation. So the music industry, of course, if you keep up with things, has evolved, has changed. I remember growing up looking at records, and going from 8 tracks, records, and, from that to tape, reels, reel to reel, tapes, and then, 8 tracks and all that stuff, and then going from that to tape recorders and having tapes going to CDs to MP3s to, now we have these devices with WAV files, and now all of these devices are like hard drives with all this music that is sitting on there. From that to streaming, and it is just revolutionized and constantly evolving. So one of the things that we have to embrace is change and innovation. As a musician, embrace change and embrace innovation. There's going to be a lot of technological advances, whether we like it or not, and we have to be open to change, learning to adapt to new strategies and platforms and ways to distribute music. And as it relates to this particular series, the playlist deals more specifically with streaming services. Do I agree with the methods of streaming? I don't. There are a lot of things that I'm just so against, and learning the specifics and why was very educational. And again, I urge you to just watch it. Second thing I learned was just understanding the business side of things. As creatives, it's easy for us to sit behind our instrument, sit behind the creative place of writing or producing, or being that awesome drummer or guitarist. But you have to understand the business side of things. So one of the things that the series does bring out is it shows that the music industry is not just about creativity, but it's also a business, right? And artists, we really need to educate ourselves on the financial and legal aspects of your careers, including how streaming royalties work and what it means for their income. I think it's very, very important for us to really, really understand the business side of things. There's a book, and there's several books that I'm thinking of off the top of my mind, and one of the books is dealing with, I think it's everything about the view. That's what it's called. It says all. Where is it at? Here it is. Donald Passman. I was given this book I was told about this book by awesome producer Kevin Bond, who is an amazing musician and producer, and just such a wealth of knowledge. But this is one of those books that I think is just a timeless piece. All You Need to Know About the Music Business by Donald S. Passman. If you don't have this book as a musician, as an artist in your library, go get it today. I'll put the link in my bio, in the description and in the bio of this particular podcast. Please, I urge you to get this book. Go to Amazon. If you have Kindle, download it. Wherever you get your books or however you read your books, this is a must read. This is something that you want to keep in your library. Wealth of information, the wealth of knowledge that is still relevant today. So the third thing that I learned is the value of collaboration. Whether you agree with Daniel Ek, who was very successful in what he did with Spotify, whether it created such a divide and a massive, how can I say this? It created a very negative divide amongst creatives and musicians because of how streaming pays out musicians, independent musicians more specifically. His success was partly due to the team that he assembled. That included the technical experts that he had alongside himself, as well as industry insiders. And for artists, collaboration is equally important, right? Whether you're working with a producer, a manager, or other artists, building a strong network or a team opens doors and creates opportunities that you probably would never have fathomed to get to the place that you really want to be. So we have to understand the value of collaboration. Again, all these things really were brought out in the movie. Do I agree with the tactics and the name by which it was done? No, I do not. Again, I'm going to keep reiterating this throughout this harmonic solo. But there are a lot of valuable things that I learned from this. Here's number 4, ethical considerations. There are a lot of things ethical that the series really touches, and dilemmas that Spotify faced, such as the impact on artists' earnings, right? As musicians, it's important to think about the broader implications of your work and choices, whether it's how you engage with fans or the platforms that you use. One of the things that was brought out in the movie, or in the series, I keep saying movie, in the series, is how the artist, well, I should say how Daniel Ek, how he was going through trying to get those record companies to buy into his idea, but unethically dismissing the work that it took to create an album, the work that it took to create a song, and minimizing that and demising that in such a way, because the only thing he really was concentrating on was technically being able to provide users with something that nobody else was able to do, negating the work that it took to create a song, yet alone an album. So there were a lot of ethical considerations that were very unethical that I saw play out real time throughout this whole series, and it is very distasteful. But again, check it out for yourself. There's a lot to be learned. Number 5, persistence in the face of challenges, right? There were a lot of things that he faced. The documentary starts out, or I should say the series starts out, with him in his mother's kitchen, literally trying to figure his life out. You know, he's grown, not looking the best, not just, but he's a techie, and he's got this brilliant idea from issues that he's seen, and this guy, you just see his persistence. And I don't care what was brought out or what was put before him when it came down to technical issues, when it came down to legal battles, he was very persistent. And the path to success in the music industry is rarely smooth. And resilience is crucial, right? Resilience is crucial. We have to be persistent. You're gonna face challenges, whether you're a great artist, whether you're starting out in the music industry. There are gonna be some things that you're gonna face. So, yeah, but there are a lot of instances where you'll see. I don't want to give it away. Let me keep going. Number 6. Navigating industry dynamics. Again, here we go again about that business side of it, but navigating the dynamics of the things within the industry. There are, the relationships between record labels, artists, tech companies. That's kind of the resounding theme in this whole series. And it was very complex. Very complex. And let me tell you, he had to have the best of the best in the legal world to navigate through a lot of these complex relationships between the record labels, the artists, the tech companies, and so on and so forth. So as musicians and artists, we have to understand that these dynamics, to better navigate our careers, knowing what to do and who to align with, and to stand firm on your rights, because there are a lot of complexities that you may never understand as you navigate through your career. So in order to better navigate through your career and understand what you're doing, you have to align with the right people, with certain partners, with the right persons who actually know their rights, who actually know the business. Not the ones who are thinking about it or the ones who are trying to figure it out. No. It's going to take some work, but you want to be mentored by someone, or you want to go in this with someone who's got some skin in the game, who knows how this thing works, but understand their rights as well. So 2 more. The impact of technology. You know, this was huge in this series, right? The impact of technology. Spotify changed how people access and consumed music. You know, even before them, there was some other, was it Napster and some other websites that were popular, and how they were just, you know, ripping music, and you're able to go on these sites and download this stuff for free. It was like getting music for free. It was like almost downloading music for nothing. You didn't have to pay for anything. You didn't have to do anything. You were just, you know, if whatever it was that you liked, you searched for it, you found it, you downloaded it, and it was yours. You didn't have to pay for it. And that's highway robbery for hardworking producers, musicians, singers, artists, engineers, you name it. It took a lot to come up with these masterpieces that are just being ripped in a matter of seconds for nothing. So technology has a huge impact on how it changed access and how people consume music. So as musicians and artists, we should be aware of how technology influences the listener's habits and how to leverage these platforms for a greater reach and engagement. You know, there's so many different things that I just took away from X's perspective, right? He was very clear about what he wanted, and when you watch the series, watch how consistent and how stern he was and is when it relates to his underlying theme, or his underlying his bottom line is kind of what I want to say. His bottom line, like his, you know, at the end of the day, this is what I believe in. This is what I stand on. His bottom line was the thing that really carried him through all these situations. He didn't care about anything except his bottom line. And if it affected his bottom line, there was a problem. And so here's the last one. The last thing that I got out of this series, the playlist, be strategic. Be strategic. Eck had a clear vision. And one of the things that I learned from him is that when he started to do what he did, he was very clear about what he wanted to do. And although there were a lot of things that devalued the musician, that were unethical to creative artists and musicians, a lot of just cutthroat stuff, even bad, shady deals with record labels and tech companies. It was just a lot of shady stuff. He was very clear with what he wanted and how he strategized. As musicians and as artists, we have to be strategic when we go into our careers and when we plan to do some of the things that we're doing, which means we have to set our goals. We have to understand our audience. We have to find the best ways to reach and monetize our art form and learn the various ways that we can do it, being creative in how we do it, right? One thing I learned, and I was so amazed when I saw this. There was an interview that was being done with Motown great and CEO and founder Barry Gordy. And he asked why his success rate with most of his artists was so great. And his answer just blew me away. He said that he looked, being in Detroit, Motor City, and car manufacturing, he looked at artists like the assembly line for cars. So there's a certain part of the assembly line that deals with the body. You got part that deals with the engine, the part that deals with the paint, part that deals with all the interior, the tires, and so on and so forth. Every part of the assembly line, at the end of the day, you're going to come out with this model that's going to sell. And he said, I wonder if I can go about doing that for artists the same way. And literally that was his blueprint. He literally took a potential great artist, and I'll just use for example the Jacksons, and he took them through the various components of his assembly line. So they learned how to do interviews, they learned how to dance, they had a vocal coach. There's so many of the different nuances that artists deal with. He had an assembly line of experts in those particular areas to make them successful artists. He had a blueprint. So the bigger question that I want to leave here with you all: do you have a blueprint for where you want to go? There's so much that when I watched this, that frustrated me, but it motivated me. Like, this Daniel Ek guy was like, he was possessed. He was possessed with whatever he wanted to do, and whatever he was frustrated by, he made it his business to create it. So he found a problem and he created a solution. And he created this solution, sometimes even unethical, by devaluing, but he did it in his way. And Spotify, whether we like it or not, is thriving. It is a $1 billion company, and it is still growing. And although I don't agree with the tactics, I don't agree with the payout. And by the way, musicians, Spotify does not pay artists a fixed amount per stream, right? So your per stream rate as an artist, if you were to have a song that you wrote, let's say you played all the music on it and did everything that you needed to do on it, it uses a prorated system where all the revenue generated from the subscriptions and ads is pooled together. So the pools is then distributed based on the total number of streams, right? So on average, the per stream rate, you ready for this, is estimated between 0.003 cents to 0.005 cents per stream. What does that break down to? That means that for every 1,000 streams that you get as an artist, you might earn $3 to $5. That math is not mathing. That is a disgrace. And to really put this all in perspective, Daniel Ek, the co-founder and CEO of Spotify, has seen a substantial increase in his personal wealth due to the success of his company. So his net worth has fluctuated between 3 to 5 billion, depending on the stock market. and Spotify's share price. So his wealth is largely tied to his ownership stake in Spotify, which he's maintained even after a couple of rounds of investment in Spotify's public listings. I'm saying that to say that that's night and day to what a artist. We get a fraction. Did you get the amount? 0.003 cents to 0.005 cents per stream. That is a half. That is less than a half of a penny per stream. I urge you, as I close, to check out the playlist. Check it out. I think you're going to walk away with a new found perspective, if you will, of the music industry, of Spotify, of business. But I pray and I hope that you walk away with becoming more strategic in your approach to the business side of things, and that you learn more of the business side of things, so that as musicians we position ourselves better and that we educate ourselves to do better, and not take every opportunity as, oh yeah, that's okay, yeah, sure, I'll take it, I'll sign up for it. I remember, and here's what I mean by that. I remember Spotify, maybe, I know within the last 2-3 years, at the end of the year, fiscal year, they would send artists how many millions of streams they had within that year. And a lot of these artists were actually posting it on their Instagrams and Facebook pages. And I was baffled, because I said to myself, wow, that this person streamed over 23 million. This person had over 3 million. This person had over 6 million. But the money didn't add up. That's the issue. You know, you would think for 3 million streams, I would have close to $3 million. Even if it was maybe 2.5, 2 million, whatever. There should be something close to the number of streams, even if I had to pay a fraction of the cost just for, let's say, just having the service or having the technology available to use to be able to stream music and paying for the service. Okay. But, for 1,000 streams, I earn only $3 to $5. Something's not right. So I want to encourage you all. I hope you've enjoyed this Harmonic solo series of Dante's Harmony podcast on today. Check it out. It's on Netflix. It's called The Playlist. Educate yourself and understand the nuances of really what the music business is really, really about. But more than just what the music business is about, educate yourself as an artist and as a creative moving forward to be more strategic in how you do business. Thank you for joining me. Have an awesome, awesome day. And remember, trees don't eat their fruit. Introducing Affirm It, the heart and soul of Dante's Harmony, a project designed to rewire your subconscious mind with daily affirmations that breathe positivity into your life. Available for purchase on iTunes and Amazon and streaming across all digital platforms. Affirm It is your daily dose of inspiration, making each day a canvas of potential. But why stop there? Elevate your affirmation journey with our exclusive line of merchandise. From journals to pillows, mugs to coasters, each piece is a reminder of your commitment to positivity and growth. Visit dantesharmony.com to discover more and join Dante's Harmony community. Embrace the power of positivity words and make them a part of your everyday. With Dante's Harmony and Affirm It, transform your mindset, your day, and ultimately your life. Discover the perfect blend of faith, fashion, and unity with Carry Him, the clothing line that celebrates diversity and shared humanity. Each piece is thoughtfully designed by founder and CEO Lindsay Dillard, incorporating powerful symbolism and the Pangea map to remind us of our interconnected world. Shop online now and elevate your wardrobe with meaning and style. Use code DHP15. That's D as in Dante's, H as in Harmony, P as in podcast, 15 at checkout for an additional 15% off your purchase. Embrace the message. Carry Him.